Surreal Broadcast is one of those YouTube channels that is not necessarily unknown per se, but it's definitely one that I would say is underrated. The channel itself pulls in a lot of viewers, but I don't see enough videos, I guess, like this covering the series, and that might be because it is still ongoing. But in this video, I wanted to take the opportunity and take the privilege to introduce you guys to what is known as the Surreal Broadcast. And please be sure to stay all the way to the end of the video where I will be sort of giving a final breakdown and analysis of all of my thoughts and my theories regarding all of the topics and information covered in this video. As always, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you enjoy content like this, please be sure to subscribe to Something Sinister. The episode Arania opens casually enough. It looks to be some sort of educational video, informing people of various types of arachnids. After discussing the usual characteristics they share, 8 legs, ability to produce silk webs, we move further into types. The common house spider, the tarantula. Text then reads that the tarantula used to be considered the largest arachnid, hinting that something new has taken its place. The broadcast goes awry as the third arachnid, referred to as Thing, is introduced. We learn that this thing is located in the Berksot forest and hunts aggressively at night. It is capable of producing audio and visual hallucinations. It is black and orange in appearance and carries a venom so lethal that seeking medical attention would be useless. The video ends by saying, should you suffer a bite, your only course of action should be to douse yourself in gasoline and light yourself on fire. The description of the video reads, the tape produced by Stephanie Newman, daughter of Fred Newman, owner of Newman's Pet Shop, was originally a schoolwork project. The term Arania, which I was unfamiliar with, has some background that I will disclose as we move further into the series. It's also important to note that the Berksot forest, where this unique type of arachnid lives, is completely unique to this story. The next video is called Radio 1987. The radio station WXVC explains to us how radio frequencies work before cutting to a top-secret file. This file contains information regarding a strange frequency found in the region of the Berksot forest in 1943. This frequency was found to produce strange images that could cause paranoia, intense fear, and anxiety. They then give us an example of the audio frequency without its anomalous properties. Tests are then conducted with a television showing the type of interference and what it looks like. With this test in particular, the interference manifests static on the TV, with black text reading, I know what you did. A hand then reaches up from the TV screen as the video ends. If you remember from the previous video, the final mysterious arachnid covered towards the end of that video is capable of emitting a frequency that can cause visual and auditory hallucinations. It would appear from this video that these frequencies are capable of interfering with radio and television frequencies. This brings the threat directly into the homes of the people who live in Berksot. The next video is titled Unusual Tour Guide. It opens with a logo for a tourist company named Sunprise. The destination they're advertising in this video is none other than the Berksot Forest. Here, as the video tells us, tourists can enjoy camping, hiking, and more. The Berksot Forest is located next to a small town of the same name. This town is home to many accommodations travelers may be seeking, such as lodging. The motels located in Berksot have some strange rules, however. such as not leaving your hotel after midnight and not turning on your television after midnight. The infringement of these rules will result in federal law punishment. At this time, we are given a map of the Berksot forest. All appears to be normal, except for the fact that nearly half of the forest is listed under restricted areas. As we move into more information regarding the individual campsites themselves, we start to receive static interference. Images of the Berksot watchtower at night are shown without any context, as well as screaming coming from the woods. We move into the safety rules regarding the forest, which state that the east side of the forest is off limits due to, as they put it, an overabundance of dangerous animals, such as bears and snakes. Just as we are given a warning to look out for webs, the static overtakes the screen once again. When we come back, we are told that if we see any eyes in the forest, survival is obsolete. Text reads, "Succumb to the mother," before cutting away. The video ends as we see a camera lying in the grass. The darkness before it reveals a set of glowing eyes before the footage ends. As we can gather from this video, arachnids continue to be a reoccurring theme in Surreal broadcast, and their presence in the Berksot forest is not being fully disclosed. Tales of Berksot is set up as an informational video directed at kids. The purpose of the video is to teach them about the history of the town. Founded in 1880, the region of Berksot was home to many farmers. Unfortunately, these original settlers would succumb to something hostile living in the woods around the area. The video is then broken up into multiple stories. The first story is titled The Adventures of Little Jimmy. Jimmy lives in the town suburbs. Despite an incoming storm, Jimmy continues to play in the nearby woods. Eventually, he gets lost. He decides to take refuge in a nearby watchtower. Alone there, he begins to grow more and more nervous as the storm rages on. Jimmy would eventually stumble upon a hole in the ground. Inside the hole are a set of eyes. Story 2 is called The Wacky Television. It takes place in a public school. During a particular thunderstorm, a teacher advises their children not to touch the television. Despite this, a very stubborn student decides to do so. As a result, two hands pop out from the television screen. The students become frightened and begin screaming. The teacher, in response to this, runs over and unplugs the TV. But it is already too late. A secretary hears the screaming from down the hall and walks over to the classroom. Inside, she can see the students and the teacher convulsing on the classroom floor. The third and final story is called Our Savior. The story begins on the night of August 25th, 1921. An object is seen falling from the sky before crashing into the ground. A vibrant green light emits from the crash site. A voice seems to call to those who are aware of its presence. Text then reads, "The thing came, and in its womb it carried the devil's daughter." The video ends. The description of this video reads, "The tape contains a collection of 3 stories for children. After further investigation, it was concluded that they were all true. Jimmy Williams disappeared on February 13th, 1974. On March 12th, all the children and the teacher were found dead in the classroom. The cause of death is still unknown. External fonts suggest that this tape could be related to a local cult." 1989 incident begins with news footage from Channel 72 Access TV. It's nearly midnight at the time of this broadcast. A commercial advertises camping gear before being interrupted by an emergency alert. The alert reads, "Today, 12th of August, 1989, 10:35 p.m. local. In the hospital of Berksot, a patient demonstrated strange symptoms caused by an animal bite. The animal has yet to be identified. Please, if you are feeling any of these symptoms, shaking, high fever, hallucinations, nonsensical speech, or abnormalities in the eyes, Please go to the nearest hospital. Any suspicious behavior must be reported to the police. Stay tuned for further information. The broadcast then continues as usual before another transmission is dispatched. This one reads that a local authority has issued a blue warning for the area. We must follow the necessary instructions. This local authority, as stated in the text, is for 3 of the surrounding districts. One of them is Berksot. Residents are told to remain indoors and to stay calm. We can then see a visual of a blood-red moon above a forest. Police sirens ring in the background as gunshots echo throughout the night. Another transmission tells us that local authorities have now issued a purple warning for the area. Remain indoors, do not look outside. The police are authorized to exterminate anyone on the streets at this very moment. These words flash across the screen. A car drives down the road. Text at the bottom reads, 24 people confirmed dead, 6 police officers, 12 civilians. Things at the hospital are not going any better, it seems, either. Their eyes are indescribable. The situation is out of control. Please help us. Something woke up in the forest. Our savior is angry. We then see 2 sets of glowing eyes. Behind them sit the dark silhouettes of 2 large spiders. The video ends. Okay, so there are a couple important takeaways in this video. Keeping in mind that the events unfolding in this episode take place in 1989, let's trek back a little bit to 1921, where we have the meteor crash down in the Berksot forest. Now, this meteor is like the first ever introduction to anything supernatural or paranormal taking place in Berksot. And if you do the math, that's 68 years from 1921 to 1989, where, shit is really hitting the fan, so to speak. So during this time, we are given references to our savior. And there's also throughout the series, there's a lot of feminine terms like mother and the devil's daughter. What I think is happening, especially with the whole savior talk, is that during those 68 years, people in Berksot have sort of looked at this meteor crash and what the meteor contained as like a savior or this godlike figure. I should also mention that in the description of the previous video, the uploader, Surreal Broadcast themselves, actually makes a reference to a cult operating outside of Berksot. So my theory is during those 68 years in between, a cult formed in Berksot, and I think it's going to play an important part moving forward. The next video is called The Cursed Days, 1959. As the title would suggest, our story begins in January of 1959. Text reads, "Every night at midnight, since I moved into my father's house, this sound echoes through the forest." It appears to be some sort of sonar-like sound infused with the natural sounds of the crickets chirping. The text then tells us that the person intends to find out where the origin of the sound is coming from. In the following days, the author of the text is able to capture something strange on camera. It is very dark, but it looks like there is some strange illumination coming from a nearby field. The author of the text tells us that upon approaching the field, they ran into a police officer. The police officer says that a man has disappeared recently near the fields. The two then part ways. The author then tells us of a strange dream that they had recently, of large webs covering the trees around their home. Still, the strange sonar sound persists and appears to be coming closer to the author's house. This singular sound eventually turns into multiple. The author continues to search in the fields and the forest around his home. He finds strange webs on the east side of his home. In the woods near a radio tower, he finds a large hole. He looks inside and sees a mysterious bright green light. The exposure to this causes him to pass out Here is the sound that he was able to record. After this encounter, the author attributes their decline in cognitive ability to the mysterious green light. They have a difficult time remembering things, even to the point where they look in the mirror and they feel as though they are looking at a stranger. This begins to affect the author's sleep. After some time, the police officer stops by the author's house to question him further on the missing individual from the field. The author is not able to offer any useful information. As the days continue, the author slowly begins to lose track of time. They decide to try and set the entire forest around their home on fire. Fortunately or unfortunately, the authorities are able to stop this. The description of the video reads, "Film reel found in Blank's house. Blank was arrested in 1959 for the murder of Officer Jackson Peter." Whether this person, who I will continue to refer to as the author, killed the officer Jackson Peter is still uncertain. It is also mentioned in the description that the police denied the existence of the video reel we just watched from the author. This leads me to believe that they used the author and their erratic behavior as a scapegoat for the cause of the officer's death, meaning that the death of the officer might have actually been due to the spiders in the forest and the fields. Art Contest 2004 is the title of the next video. It opens with an ad for a local movie theater. The movie shown in the ad is called Greenlight, which is an obvious reference to the phenomenon happening in Berksot. We are then shown a Halloween special art contest. Some of the submissions include Lonely Mansion, The Skull Man, The Mysterious Fog, which shows a dock leading out to a foggy lake. In the distance is the large silhouette of a spider. Of the contest winners, we have this submission from Jackson Peter. It is a rather rudimentary portrait of what he refers to as the man in the cabin. If you recall, Jackson Peter was a police officer working in Berksot before he died in 1959. Another winner is a similar spiral-looking shape. The title of it is Every Time I Think, Every Time I Sleep. The next winner is a portrait of a green star. It is titled Savior and was created by a man named James Hutt. Under the honorable mentions category, we pan across blank canvases. Each of them contains a word that makes up the phrase, "There is something waiting for you in the forest." The grand winner of the art contest is obscured, but it is seemingly of a forest tree line with a green light hovering above it. The picture rolls and distorts before the episode ends. The episode Receivers 1996/1967 begins with a presentation from Waterfall Valley University. The following presentation was made in 1967. The purpose of the presentation is to inform us on what the receiver infection is. As the slideshow explains, the receiver infection is a plant disease unique to a special place in Maine, specifically the Berksot Forest. What makes this disease special is that it is completely unique to this forest. The infection is most common on trees. It uses the base of the tree to connect itself to the vein system of other infected trees. The receiver infection can often be located on the side of a tree's trunk. It is a structure made up of a mysterious, unknown black material with some sort of glowing green light found within. A big problem is the process of contraction of the receiver infection, which is currently unknown. As it stands, there is no way to prevent one from contracting the disease. What we do know is that if a tree is affected by the receiver infection, it can transmit the disease via underground roots. This allows the disease to spread across a wide region of the forest. Should a human find themselves in an affected area, exposure to the receiver infection will cause cognitive issues such as fear, memories, and regret. The presentation tells us that a recent scientific study shows that human emotions can be transformed into energy. The more intense the emotion, such as fear, the more energy it produces. This energy is then transmitted to the mysterious pods attached to each of the tree's trunks, and is then sent through the vein system to deep underground holes and caverns. As we know, many individuals in Berksod have reported seeing strange holes in the ground. These holes are often accompanied by sets of eyes. Could these large spiders be growing and feeding off of the energy people in the forest are giving them? The next video is titled Groove Cross Annual Festival 1989. The video opens with a title card reading The Mysterious Hut. This is the title of the paranormal program we are watching. As you can see, the creator is James Hutt. And if you remember, James Hutt was the creator behind this painting shown at the 2004 art contest. It was titled Savior. We are soon introduced to a new character, a priest named Oliver Greenshine. Of course, it would be Greenshine. Oliver is the priest of Groove Cross Church, which is holding the following festival. The festival is to take place on July 30th, 1989. More text tells us that the offering is being treated under the right conditions. We then cut to a green light in the sky. The shadow of a figure walks past it before their green eyes glow. We are then told how to prepare ourselves for the festival. The first step is to prepare our mind. The second is the symbol of connection, which involves taking a knife and carving the following spiral symbol into the palm of our right hand. The final step is to remember that if we feel fear, remorse, or guilt, that we are a survivor and are worthy to serve him. A blurred photograph of James Hutt is shown. As the text tells us, he is a TV presenter of a popular show called Beyond the Paranormal, and he will soon experience true fear. He is the offering the Groove Cross will use at the festival this year. He is not the only one, as there have been many offerings lost in previous festivals. Jennifer Smith, Howard P., Mike O., Thomas L., and most recently, Jackson Peter. A final correction at the end of the video tells us that the date has been changed to August 12th of 1989. The festival will take place on this date. The video then ends. So this video offers a lot of important and new information. We've made mention a few times now of a cult operating in Berksod. And I think this video gives us a lot more information regarding that. So the cult themselves are called Groove Cross, and their leader is a priest named Oliver Greenshine. Like I said, it's a very, very fitting name. And Groove Cross hosts a annual festival where they pretty much sacrifice a human offering to the deity that they worship, which at this point in time is still sort of up in the air, but I think we can assume that it's either the spiders in the forest or the initial creature that was in the meteor that landed in the Berksod forest. So let's keep going. The next episode is called Silent Forest 2000. Immediately, we are shown surveillance camera footage provided by Silent Forest Surveillance System. The footage is coming from Berksod Forest. We are shown a log where the cameras are posted. We have an old cabin, a lake, a watchtower, and what is referred to as the Green Zone. We start with Path A. As the camera pans in a 360-degree motion, we get a glimpse of a few strange objects at the base of the trees. These are referred to as nests. At the old cabin, we get a glimpse of what appears to be a large spider on top of the roof. As the camera turns on its night vision, the shadow quickly scurries away. In this image, we get what the video refers to as one servant and one receiver. If you recall, the receiver is what attaches itself to the tree and runs its roots through it and down underground. It is also responsible for the receiver infection that is going on. Over at Conwin Cove Lake, we see one servant scurry across the screen, as well as three nests. By the watchtower, we see what appears to be one nest containing 24 servants. Finally, in the green zone, we see a large field. In the distance is a tree line containing multiple sets of eyes. In the foreground are more nests. Giant legs quickly cover the screen before our connection is lost. When the footage comes back to, we get a new location referred to as the Hive. It is a large hole in the ground containing many bright lights. They spin in a circular motion. As the video ends, we are told that the details regarding the Hive are unknown. The Video Culture and History 1987 serves as a visual historic guide to Bergsot. We open with the following dates. Attached to each decade is a list of major events. We select the Cabin Man legend to learn more about it. This legend is native to Bergsot. It is largely shrouded in mystery, but the legend describes a man covered in branches, with bright green eyes that lives in the cabin, which is located, of course, in the heart of the forest. At night, the cabin man emerges and wanders the woods. Children would often get together at night and search for the man. Over time, many of them went missing. As a result, many parts of the forest are now off limits. Moving forward, the cabin man is the character who I referred to as the author. These two terms will be synonymous. Camp B is one site in particular where many people have gone missing. We are given various footage from Camp B. Strange sounds come from the surrounding wilderness, branches breaking and crickets chirping. Strange sets of eyes can be seen behind the trees in the distance. Text tells us that if the sky turns green, we must hide immediately. At this point, our camera operator, who has been a subject to the lights, wanders the forest in a confused manner. We then get a caption that reads, "The connected long for salvation." We are then shown a silhouette of a person with their arms extended above their head. Strange branches seem to grow from all parts of them. Their eyes glow green before the camera cuts away. Marine Research Report 1986 introduces us to the Maine Marine Research Center. They give us a project report from the coast of Maine. Their mission is to study marine plant and animal life, as well as weather patterns in the area. Their findings have concluded that the coast presents a strange lack of animal life. They believe that this might be linked to a local weather event that the locals refer to as the opening. They also mention that the unstable climate in the region has affected the population, which has since dwindled from 1921. We are then shown recovered footage from the findings. Text informs us that the three members of the project went missing in August of 1986. They were later declared dead. The video footage they recorded was recovered and sent back to the Marine Research Center. We see the videos of the coast as well as the research base. As we continue to watch, a strange green fog makes its way over the water. An emergency broadcast system is released on the radio before all hell breaks loose. A group of figures can be seen emerging from the fog. Each of them has a set of glowing green eyes. The camera then cuts away. We see a spiral, similar to the paintings of James Hutt. The spiral is referred to as the opening, which is a passage between worlds, specifically our world and theirs. The passage seems to open before the video ends. The Video Architecture Demonstration 1995 opens with a structural breakdown of the Groove Cross clock tower. If you don't remember, Groove Cross is the name of the church and the cult led by priest Oliver Greenshine. The video tells us that the clock tower began construction in 1985. The exterior blueprint of the tower appears seemingly normal. However, the window located at the bottom of the tower is referred to as the remains disposal window. We then watch as the tower sits in front of a full moon. The date is July 15th, 1989. It is midnight. Lightning strikes the sky, emitting a green hue. The video then cuts to the interior blueprint of the tower. The music in the background seems to slow and distort as we are shown a chain leading to an offering cage located at the base of the tower. Just beneath the cage is what is referred to as the hive mouth. This is what connects the village to the hive, and the hive must be fed regularly, explains the text. If not, plague and death will take over the village. We cut back to video footage from July 18th, 1989. The hive mouth shakes before its spinning set of eyes are shown. Back on the ground level, the sky has turned green and the moon is blood red. Large spiders can be seen crawling across the village. People scream and police sirens echo throughout the night. All seems lost. The video ends. Really quick, I know that there is a lot of information being thrown at you right now, so I just want to reiterate that stay tuned to the end of the video. This story is very reliant on timelines and dates. I'm going to present all of these to you in a chronological order that's a little bit more palatable. So, anyways, just a disclaimer. As of making this video, this is the final upload from Surreal Broadcast. It is titled Animal Bite Emergency, 1981. This presentation is from St. Olivia Hospital. As of recently, they have been receiving many cases of strange bites. The following video is full of prevention tips to avoid this. Some of the tips include not entering dark places at late hours of the night. Should you find a large concentration of clothes around an isolated area, you must leave and call the authorities. Should you feel a sudden surge of paranoia, hide until it goes away. The video shows us that there are 4 different stages of the bite. The first is 3 bubbles that will appear from the affected area, which cause a lot of pain to the victim. The second stage is when the poison storage from inside these bubbles begins to spread throughout the entire body. In stage 3, the body will decay and rot, eventually reducing the affected flesh to ashes. Stage 4 shows that the infection will make its way to the vital organs. We are then shown footage from a man named Dr. Marcus. He is exploring the great fields of Burksot when he comes across some loose clothing on the ground. The video then names a few victims of these bites. Brian Baxter is the first. His skeleton seems to protrude from a tree trunk. As Dr. Marcus continues to work his way throughout the forest, he hears strange noises in the distance. He becomes frightened, turning off his flashlight as the sounds continue to ring throughout the woods. He eventually runs into what appears to be a large spider in the tree's canopy. After being attacked, Marcus tries to stumble out of the woods on his own. He coughs up blood before trembling. The video ends. The description of the video reads, "An unusual smell of rotting meat can be found in several areas of the forest, along with what appears to be bones. Staff at St. Olivia Hospital have been seen in these areas several times." Okay, so as I've mentioned, there's a lot of information in this video. The story is very complex, and there are things that even I'm probably going to miss because, like I said, this series is still being created. So if I brush over something, it might be just because the theories aren't. There's not enough information there to form theories around yet. But anyways, I think it's best at this point that I show you the timeline of the story so far. I'm going to go through each of the years and sort of pick out the most important bits of information. So our story begins with the founding of Burksot in 1880. Now, Burksot was originally mostly home to farmers, and any sort of urbanization wouldn't happen until later down the line. In 1921, so that's 41 years after the town's founding, a strange meteor crashed into the forest. It's radiating this green light, and some of the Burksot villagers say that the meteor contains the devil's daughter. Moving to 1959, we have the introduction to the author, or the cabin man. This is an individual who has lived in the Burksot forest on their own in complete isolation. And he would begin to hear strange noises at night and this on, repetition, basically his sanity would begin to slip. At this time as well, I should also mention that this is when police officer Jackson Peter would be investigating the area for a local disappearance. Now, Jackson Peter would have a few interactions with the cabin man before disappearing himself. So that brings us to 1967. So this is when the story introduces us to the receiver infection. So this comes in the form of these strange pods that collect on the trunks of the trees in the Berksot forest. The pods run through the root system of the trees, and that's eventually how they affect trees around them and how the virus spreads. So in 1987, this begins the start of something very important. Berksot's canon event, perhaps, if it's not the meteor crash itself. In 1987, we have the beginning of the Cabin Man legend and a growing danger in the woods itself. Camp B is a popular camping site that's pretty well known in the Berksot Forest, but it's now becoming so dangerous to the point where it is off limits to the public. And I believe this is a theory that I'm not for sure on this, but I believe that this is also Camp B is around the location of where the cabin man's cabin was. So 1989 is where a lot of things will forever change in Berksot. By 1989, we are aware of the Groove Cross Church, that they are secretly a cult who is run by Oliver Greenshine. They are worshiping the spiders in the woods, or perhaps the hive mouth, whatever's in the hive mouth. And they have constructed the town's clock tower to be situated specifically over the hive mouth itself. I believe inside the hive mouth, it is either the devil's daughter or the mother, whatever that is in reference to. I believe that is in the hive's mouth. So each year, Groove Cross holds a festival where they basically lower an offering or a human sacrifice into the hive mouth to satiate it. And in 1989, the sacrifice is the very lucky James Hutt, who is a local man who runs a paranormal show. And he was actually investigating these strange occurrences in Berksot prior to this festival. So after this, our facts become a little bit blurry, but we know that as a result of this date, all hell breaks loose over Berksot. By the year 2000, most of the Berksot forest has become home to various spiders and their nests, as well as the receiver infection pods. And in 2004, this is our latest date and our final date, Berksot hosts an art contest where many of the pieces shown are from characters that we have discussed throughout the series, such as Jackson Peter and even James Hutt. The following is a breakdown of my thoughts and theories regarding the Surreal broadcast series, as well as its future. Despite knowing that the meteor contained whatever is in the hole, we do not know exactly what it is. I think that it is the mother or the daughter of the devil that has been referenced throughout the series. It follows in the themes of arachnids because, in most species, the female spider is larger than the male. The female is also known to kill the male partner after mating is over. A female, or mother, also has the capability to give birth, lay eggs that spawn other giant spiders, which we have seen throughout the series as well. I think that the mother is located in the hole underneath the clock tower, or the hive mouth. This clock tower belongs to the Groove Cross Church, which is also the name of the cult led by Oliver Greenshine. This cult sacrifices or gives the mother a human offering each year during the Groove Cross Festival. In one year in particular, 1989, I think the sacrifice, James Hutt, got away. This resulted in large storms and retaliation from the mother and her spawn. Another theory regarding Oliver Greenshine, I think that he is the man that is referred to as the cabin man or the author in the cursed days. I think that he was living in isolation when the meteor landed in his vicinity. He slowly started to feel the meteor's effects, and when he discovered who the mother was, he adopted her as his savior. He would then make the first offering of Jackson Peter in 1959. The cult would then grow steadily over the next 30 years. And so that is where we leave Surreal Broadcast. So as of now, there has been talks, to my knowledge, by Surreal Broadcast themselves of a season finale, but any sort of posts regarding this happened 2 years ago. So whether or not that's still a thing, I'm not sure. But if you would like to follow them and see for yourself, be sure to check them out. Like I said, I linked them down in the description below. And if you enjoy content like this and you want to see more like it, please be sure to subscribe. And as always, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.